Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Ethereum, see what's going on, help understand best practice, big picture. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I really just love teaching people to trade, and I hope that you can learn something here today. If you do want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. I hope you can learn as much as you can, and thank you to all my current community members giving me such wonderful feedback. We've got over 200 active members, and it's important right now, while the price is crazy low, to learn as much as you can so you can prepare yourself for the next bull market. It's on the horizon. We'll get there eventually. For now, let's look and see what's going on here. So, big picture here with Ethereum. There's something I want to kind of bring to your attention. I identified this on my Bitcoin video. Maybe check that out in your own time, the one I released here today, because Bitcoin is printing double Doji candles in the last couple of days, and so was Ethereum. Big surprise. They're both very similar, right? So with us seeing a Doji candle day before yesterday, or I guess you could say yesterday, that essentially tells us that there is indecision in the market. In other words, price wants to go up and or down at this level. If we look at yesterday's Doji candle, it's closer to a gravestone, really implying that the price came up and down in the exact same trading period and closed at the same place that it opened. Again, reaffirming a strong resistance level, which is right here at 30 on the RSI, if you can see that there, plain as day, but also a strong resistance level, mostly at 21,000 on Bitcoin. Again, these coins are synonymous in a lot of ways, so that's why you can see Ethereum right now behaving this way. That being said, if we take a look, of course, at the overall sense of things here, we can see if you have those double Doji candles, oftentimes, in most cases, the price comes down. Now, I looked and identified this again on a Bitcoin video. There's a handful of reasons as to why this happens, but for the most part, when you see a couple of Doji candles in a row, it really helps you understand that there's a likely shift in momentum for the price to turn itself around. Okay, so again, no guarantees on that. Patterns on candlesticks, I would say, are probably only 60-70% likely to happen, but they still happen more frequently than you expect. So I just want to kind of throw that out there as a preface. I think that's an important thing to recognize here for Ethereum, and that potential for downside, or today being a red day in general, maybe even it closes right where it's at, is a very strong likelihood. Okay. Again, in most cases, that's how it's going to work. And it could have already bottomed out. I mean, you see here right around 1070, the price came down, wicked down to that Fibonacci retracement level and bounced. So that could have been the push down that we were expecting. So it may already be done. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. So let's take a look at the 4 hour and kind of see here. We're stuck under 50 on the RSI, but not really, because the price is kind of wavering above and below. But tentatively, we are below that. And there's also a resistance level here on Fibonacci at 1118. So there's a potential issue there where the price may come up and reject, or has already, and might be planning to work its way down further. I would speculate that we're probably likely more to see the price action come down than we are up in the immediate future for Ethereum. Once again, based on what I've shared with you so far, but also due to the fact that we have a MACD potential divergence, this is not strong whatsoever, but it is telling us that the bulls have lost control of this little period. And you got to understand too that this little trend, this is almost 3 days straight of continuation of the upside. And you think about it, look how much percentage that is. That's a 35% increase in like 3 days. It's an average of like 10-11% per day. It's quite a lot when you think about it. So in that sense, when the price action is coming down the way that it is right now, it makes sense they're taking their profits from earlier in the week. Okay. Again, gaps need to be filled, and in most cases, when you have a gap up on a holiday weekend, you're going to see that fill. Okay. So it could and should likely continue lower. That's kind of what it looks like it wants to do for now. Once again, let's go ahead and look at everything, of course, abstractly as well, because if you look at the 1 hour, it probably is telling us a different story. In other words, if we take a look here, we are seeing lower highs and lower lows so far. Once again, that rejection there at that resistance at 1118. And of course, lower lows as well, but generally speaking, that's pretty obvious. Until we establish a lower low, then we're going to be in the same position here. So that doesn't really matter too much. What does matter, I think, is overextension to either the upside or downside. And Bitcoin has a very similar pattern here. In other words, Bitcoin came down to a 9, got a reset, and it's back up to a 7. Right now we're up to a 6 on Ethereum, which basically just implies that we had a longer consolidation period here for Ethereum at a lower price point, and we hit that 9 here right down at about 1070. So again, the price coming up here the way that it is, I don't know, that just seems like a very strong likelihood the way that it rejected off that Fibonacci retracement level that we're going to see a lower price point here. But again, with us being at a 6 right now, we could have about 3 more hours of continuation of the upside. All right. The main thing we want to look at here, though, is the cloud, and this is something that's also a stark reality on Bitcoin, whereas we're just about to break below the cloud. And that kind of tells us that, concurrent with the MACD divergence on the 4 hour time frame, that we're more likely to see downside here in the immediate future. That in combination with the the two Doji candles on the daily, that's a really important thing. Plus, we're also getting rejected at 30 on the RSI too. We have a strong resistance level at 21,000 for Bitcoin, which is effectively right here at about 1175. So again, overall, it does feel like the price action wants to digress, and that we want to be a little more patient here and wait, because obviously if we were to just kind of jump right in, we may not be in a better position. But to me, I see a lot of factors here that tell me I want to open a short position for Ethereum because of the simple fact that the price action is doing what it's doing. Okay. Again, a lot of factors are involved, and what we're doing right now is we're basically just building a case on, hey, what's the likelihood of Ethereum going either direction? And to me, with those double Doji candles as well as the cloud potential breakthrough to the downside, granted it hasn't done it yet, but it's soon to. The lagging span being free and clear of price action here, there's a great chance we're going to see, at the very least, price action get stuck between 1070 and 1170. So we're probably going to see some kind of action like that, or perhaps even more so, establish lower lows and lower highs and work our way back down to fill that gap that we saw here. That was a lot of profits. There's still a lot of meat on the bone, if that makes sense, right? A lot of folks are going to want to take their profits from all this point here because a lot of them got in at this lower level. So again, it just seems like a stronger likelihood Ethereum is going to come down than up based on those factors I've shared with you. So again, use your own decision making, use your own risk tolerance. Just because I say this is going to happen doesn't mean it will. Honestly, I get things wrong a lot. It's perfectly fine, but I do more often than not get them right. And I do think that in this case, we're just kind of shaping up for more so potential downside. I'm not saying that we're going to hit 500 from Ethereum in the immediate future. I do think 500, 600, 700 is a likely target, though, in the overall sense of how low we should go in this trend. Okay, it may not happen today, may not happen tomorrow, but I think in the next couple of months we're going to see a price point and that range in Bitcoin being closer to the 14,000, 13,000 range. Okay. Just an overall, speculation here on the big picture and the way things are going right now. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at there for Ethereum. I hope that made sense and that I was descriptive enough to kind of help you, understand my thought process here. To me, a short position seems much more viable than a long position. And again, if you're going to do that, make sure you use your own risk tolerance, but position size lower, and make sure that if you're going to use leverage, for example, you use leverage in a positive way. In other words, a very careful way. Okay, cross leverage over isolated, for example. There's a handful of different things or strategies you can apply, but at this point, I can tell you that this is something that's really important in the sense of being careful. It's really important to make sure that you are cautiously optimistic, but also realistic in the sense that it could go to zero at any point. All right, I'm not saying Ethereum is going to go to zero. Just in general, we want to expect the worst and hope for the best. I guess that's what I'm getting at. So, anyways, I hope you learned something here today. Thanks again for joining me here. Look forward to working with you. If you're not currently a community member, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon.